What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brian from Brian's Custom Auto coming at you today with, wait for it, Nanner hammock. We're going to go right on into working on this thing. We got to go ahead and throw the spark plugs in. I'm going to go ahead and pre-gap those. And don't know if you know, but on these old engines, you usually want to run about 35 thousandths. Depending on if you're running boost or not, depends on your gap and your heat range and, you know, several different things. But it's just basic running engine. We're going to gap them at 35. And put a little anti-seize on them, throw them in. We'll put the wires on. And yeah, real simple. So if you've seen this channel before, you know how to do all that. So let's just jump right into that. I'll bring you back in just a minute. All right, everybody. So it's been a couple days. As a matter of fact, it's been 2 days. We uploaded that video on Sunday, and then Monday was my daughter's dance class. So here we are on Tuesday, my first day to get back to work. Now, in the off time while I had my little girl, we went ahead and installed the spark plugs, the wires, the distributor, that stuff. I got the alternator mounted on here. It ain't perfect by any means, but we're gonna get the alternator set. Also, we had to change something because I will admit that I've already fired this engine up. Okay, don't worry, I will let you hear it. Don't panic. Don't panic. But yeah, remember that harmonic balancer I had to go buy because the one for this engine was missing? Well, even if you have a 400 crank in a small block Chevy 350, you still have to run a 350 crank balancer. I did not know that. Learned my lesson. That one's on the ground because it has to go back to O'Reilly's, and in the morning O'Reilly's will have me a new one. But this is the crank pulley off of the 388 over there. So I don't mind taking parts from that engine to put on here to get this one running because the owner is the same person. Okay, just so y'all know that. Don't ever think that I'm robbing from one customer for another customer. I'm not doing that. This is all the same guy. Okay, now I'm in the process of fighting a alternator right now. You'll notice that rib belt setup, yeah, that come off of that engine too, but that's because we're doing something completely different with that guy. But for this one, we want it to get all the voltages and operate properly. Now, I done had it on there once, but it didn't work. So yeah, now we got to try it again. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get this belt slid on there, guys. I've got this, but this don't fit. So I don't know. Somebody help me out. Help me understand where I'm going wrong here. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna get that belt on there. I'll bring it back in a minute. All right, guys, got the belt on there. It looks pretty straight. I see one little ka-chuk in it, but let's fire this thing up and see if it'll stay on there. Huh, give it some go-go. Okay. Open that choke up just a little bit. Throw a pair of pliers in it. There we go. There we go. Still got a header leak. Not exactly sure where, somewhere down in there, but she sounds good. tell. See what kind of oil pressure we got, guys. Yet another engine I built. Ooh. Huh. That didn't look good. I know we had oil pressure. We'll look into that. All right, everybody, I'm sitting inside the car. The car runs really good. Still got a little tuning on that stupid carburetor to do because that thing is not happy. We'll get that all straightened out. But in the meantime, it's time to do a reset. I got to get all my tools up. And yeah, we got gauges to put in here. We got a center console we got to put in here. I got a shifter to build. But before I can do all that, I've got to get these tools up because it is driving me crazy not being able to find everything I need. So, yeah, let's do that. Case in point, this is my shifter right now. All the way over and up, there's reverse, first, well, there's second, third, and fourth. And there's reverse. Yeah. Got to build a shifter for that. That's going to be awesome. But outside of that, he said he's got a new tack coming. So, yeah. Now we just got to get the rest of this stuff up. Get all my tools up. Put everything back where it goes. Guys, look how nice this car is. I mean, fasten seatbelt light comes on. Temperature light comes on. Whenever you hit the key. The oil pressure light ain't gonna come on, neither is, well, the battery might, but yeah, we'll figure that out. But oh, wait a minute, do we have a radio? There's a radio. It comes on ish. Wait a minute. There we go, two. Huh. Well, it kind of works. That's volume. So let's... Huh. There we go. Well, the 6x9s back there work. That's it, though. Check that out. How cool, guys. All right. Let's get tools cleaned up and get a reset going. Everybody, we are back. It's the next day. Since we got the car running and fired up yesterday, and all that went good, and I went and got the right balancer and put back on the 388. We're good there. Now, I was noticing standing here with this big tall engine that it was leaning a little bit. I'll show you if you can see this on camera. But if you squat down, it looks like the engine's leaning over to the passenger side just a little bit, okay? And that would be because it is. But the answer for that is something I should have done while it was out, and I completely dropped the ball on that one. We got new motor mounts for it. So, yeah. I'm not pulling the engine back out to put motor mounts in. We're going to do it the normal way that you would do with your car setting like this, which means we're going to pull all the bolts out on each side, which means I'm going to have to pull this fuel pump back loose again, but that'll be fine. Yeah, we'll pull the fuel pump back loose and get in there as best we can. We might not have to do that, I don't know, but we're gonna get the car jacked up, get it up on jack stands real quick, and we'll get this knocked out. And as soon as that's done, then I can start putting the cooling system in, and then the front end back on, and build the shifter, get the other gauges hooked up, and then this car can move out. It's not going to be done because we're going to clean up the paint and body on it some. I got to move that fender a little bit because it had a little boop-de-boop right there on the corner. But yeah, that's where we're at. So let's go ahead and get started on that. If there's anything of interest to show you, I'll show you once I get in there, but I just mainly want to get them done. So, all right, everybody, got the motor mounts done. Now, I am going to attempt to back this car out. I'm going to attempt to back this car out because I got to move some stuff out the shop and it's in the way. Okay. Let's see if I can make it. Be the first time of it moving under its own power in we don't know how many years. So, yeah, let's see. Here goes nothing. It's alive. It moved under its own power, which is great. That means I can get a bunch of mess cleaned up. All right, everybody. Yesterday was a very long and taxing day, to say the least. Trying to get the last bit of this stuff tied up on this Camaro. But we made strides. We did. Let me show you. So, we wound up getting the power steering installed. Alternator's doing its thing. I don't know that it's working yet, but yeah. We got the radiator laying there with the proper, well, not the proper plug, but a good plug in it. Got the hose for the upper radiator. Now we have to install the gauges, but before we do that, we're going to finish installing the lights, the grill. Then we'll put in the gauges. Then we'll start doing some cleanup, okay? But I've been fighting this headlight over here because the stupid adjuster on the top, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. There ain't no room to get in there. But we've got all the brackets back in and all that jazz. And guys, it'll be very close to time to clean this thing up. It ain't gonna be long for it'll be going for its first test drive. Besides just pulling out under its own power. But yeah, so we're gonna throw these lights in right quick. And throw that grill back in right quick and move on from there. So hang tight and I'll see you in a minute. All right, so it is now pouring the rain. Yay. And it's also pouring inside here, of course. But we're still plucking along. So we got the radiator in. Let me back this camera out of here. So we got the radiator in. Oh, we got the whole front end back together. Ain't got it cleaned yet, but we got the front end back together. Got the radiator in. We put just a regular plug down there. It will work just fine. I got one of these flexo hoses for the upper radiator, but we're gonna have to go back to O'Reilly's and get another one. So in the meantime, let's finish putting these on here. Get this snugged up. Come on. There we go. Now, I'll get my wrench over here. And come back. Let me put you guys on the stand. Now, make sure I got this in tight mode. There we go. I'm gonna show you a trick, guys. A life hack for you guys. If you're using a ratchet wrench like this, and it's got that little curve in it, well, you know you got it set for loosen or tighten, and put it on there like so. Well, that is gonna hit the fan blades if you have it in tighten. But if you set it in loosen and then turn it around, it puts your wrench back the other way. Now, I know a bunch of you know this, but some of you may not. Yeah. There we go. Yes, I know you shouldn't be able to do that, but hey, it is what it is. There you are. That clutch fan on there. Woo! Now, we need to run back to O'Reilly's, get the right belt or right hose for this, because it'll go right here. Right here. And yeah, it just ain't long enough. So I need 4 inches longer at least. So let's go do that. That's the story of my life. Me and my buddy call them oh-reallys because when you get a part, you're like, oh really, it don't fit. All right, here we are back again. Got a upper radiator hose on. Have not filled it up with water yet because I still have to put the temperature gauge in. And still need to hook up the heater cord, but I'll do that a little bit later. I'm not stressing that right this second. We don't even know if the heater core is good in this car, but we got the fan on, got the radiator in, hose is hooked up. Now we're moving to the inside here so we can go ahead and get the gauges hooked up. Now, I'll show you this. I did it this way for a reason. I put them right down under the radio. They're not perfectly centered, but I did that so I didn't have to drill holes into the bottom of this dash, okay? So I might end up having to anyway, because I think this is facing crooked. So I guess I'll have to fix that real quick. Tilt it back to where it faces this way. But we wanted to put it way down there. I've got a center console going in here out of that other car. But we got the chrome back set of Equus gauges. I like the Equus gauges, guys. I mean, it's all an opinion. I like these because they are all manual. So you don't have to worry about a wire showing you what's right and what's wrong, like on other vehicles. But we're going to get these gauges installed, and then that's going to be it for today. Which, that should be it for the car. So, yep. Oh, the power steering works good in here too. Or it was a minute ago. You know. Probably still have to bleed some air out of the lines. Let's see, we got some loose screws up here. Yep. Tighten that up. Just a little bit. I still don't know what that is. Was that for, well, it wasn't for an antenna. I don't know what that was. Defrost maybe? No, defrost is over there. Oh, I bet it was the back glass defrost. If you're looking at, well, can't see it. The lines across the back glass back there, I bet you that's what that button is right there, is the defrost. So, anyway, yeah, let's get these gauges punched through the firewall and go from there. Alrighty, moving right on along. Had to come back in and grab the big cratchet wrench right quick. Finally got a hole drilled through to be able to get the temperature sender out. And I think you'll find it interesting how I ran the sending unit, since we had so much space under the intake. So we come out on that far side over there and goes up under and then pops out and comes out right here. So now we just need to tighten this guy here down. And yes, I'm running it right next to the thermostat housing, because I mean, in my opinion, that's the best place to run it. I'm sure somebody has a reason why it's not, but, and I mean, I probably could have put it back there under the back of the intake, or under the back of the, could have put it in the front up here if I wanted to, but I think right here is just fine. Alright, cool. Now then, I need to put a little sealant on that and then in there. Alright. Now, let's get that down to size. And then once we get this done, we will add coolant. By coolant, I mean Florida blend coolant. All right, there's that. Now, I still want to run me a small hose for my vacuum advance up to the front of the carb here, but we will get that shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this thing up with coolant real quick, and yeah, I'll bring you guys back in just a minute. Well, I think we're up to full operating temperature still with that stupid tick. About 180 over there. Ain't much for oil pressure for some reason. She's running a little rich, but she's alive. We got oil pressures. Oh. I gotta still work on that carburetor a lot. The guys, Nanner hammock's alive. So I'm done messing with it for today. I'm gonna shut this thing down and go spend some time with my family. There you have it. That's a full build the engine, put the car together, get it running and all that, vice grip garage style. I hadn't taken it for a test drive yet. That'll come. Still got to tune on the carburetor a little bit. Might get that in this video, might not, don't know yet. But we have a cooling system, we have a fuel system, we have exhaust system, we have 4 gears, and a set of brakes that run off of the vacuum booster, by the way. I did hook up the vacuum advance. I might need to tweak the timing a little bit. But guys, I don't really know if I'm fighting a crappy carburetor or what. I don't know. But we got a fan that's fanning, a carb that's carbon, a car that's running. What else can you ask for? Power steering works great. Yeah, everything's good. So next time you see this will be tomorrow, as we're pulling it out of here to go park it out in the middle of the yard until we're ready to move on to the next step on it. But as for right now, Nanner hammock is a running, ready to drive car. So, all right, guys, jumping off here. I didn't catch it on video, and I'll explain why. You can see the car is moved to its new position for a minute in front of Gray Ghost. If you were able to follow the tire tracks here, you would see just how tight the turns are and all that stuff. Anyway, you can see I drove it right there. Yep, I drove it right there so I could put the F-150 inside there, so I can work on it tomorrow, so I can get more sanding work done on it, because I've got to get the paint job done on this if this crap will ever go away. But so no, I did not video that, guys. I'm sorry. I was having a heck of a time keeping it running because unfortunately that carburetor is junk. it still don't want to work right. And I think the timing might be a little, well, it keeps lean popping. So, and lean is mean, and that's what they say, but yeah, I think timing's still off a good bit. So we'll fix that. That's not a big deal. But as for right now, I drove it to right there. And guys, it sounds good on the inside. When you crank it up and pull it out or whatever, and it's sitting there shaking and rattling and rolling, yeah. Of course, it's shaking and rattling and rolling because it's absolutely flooding. Anyway, guys, so that's where that's going to set for just a little bit until we come the rest of the way. Plus, we still have to take the hood off of Gray Ghost over there because it's going to end up on here. And yeah, I've got more work to do. So, but that's going to be it on this one for right now, because we've got to get the black truck done, and he needs me to hold off on that. That being said, guys, please make sure you're following along on this build series, because we got more coming up very soon. Okay, we've got bunches more to do. One, we got to get the timing the rest of the way straightened out and get that stupid carburetor. Now, that carburetor is the one that came on the 388 when it came in, and I did my best to rebuild it, and I did it the way you're supposed to, but I don't know what all it set, you know, I don't know what all it had in it while it set. So there's that. All the gears seem to work. The clutch might not be all that great, or maybe it just needs to get a little usage into it. But it goes in and out of gear perfect. Reverse works perfect. And yes, I'm still using the vice grips for the shifter, because we still got to build that. So like I said, guys, we got a lot of work to do ahead of us. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure YouTube hadn't unsubscribed you. But that being said, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it don't change you. And yeah, so we'll catch you on the next one.